Hello, today we're going to do a brand voice audit. This is nothing too scary. It's not a marketing jargon overload, and it's nothing to panic about. We are not going to be rewriting everything. Nothing is going to be perfect because nothing in marketing ever is. This is all about checking that your brand actually sounds like you. Because in the last couple of years, we've had the rise of AI, and while AI is good, it's also not so good at times. And there are moments in time where we thought it had our brand voice, but it might be taking us off track. Your brand voice shows up everywhere. It's every email we send, every social media post we write, the website that we have, the DMs and the comments. And it matters because it's what people resonate with you. So let's dive in, do a simple little check that'll take you no longer than 20 minutes to make sure that you've got clarity, consistency, and confidence in your marketing message and that your brand voice still says what you want it to say. If we have not met before, my name is Linda Reed-Enever. I'm an ideas and impact strategist. I lead the impact team at Enever Group, and I love working with my ideas, impact, and marketing circle members as well, teaching you what I do. And today's video is just a snapshot of what those members get. So today we're going to look at that brand voice audit. So we're going to jump in and take a snapshot of our marketing materials. We don't need to have everything, and make sure that we can understand that our brand voice is still ourselves. As I said in the introduction, AI is great, but sometimes it takes us so far away from where we want to be that we actually lose who we are and we get a disconnect in our messaging, which therefore means we don't connect with our clients, or when they do connect with us, they don't know who we are anymore because we don't sound like the robot that's just been out there talking for us. Now, don't get me wrong, I love AI. I think it's a great tool, but we need to make sure that we always check it for our brand voice and time. So let's get started on that brand voice audit. What I want you to do is gather a voice snapshot. So we're not getting everything here. We're picking around 5 pieces of content. We're going to mix them up. There'll be social posts in there. There'll be emails. There'll be website copies, maybe a message or an email to a client, a video script. And then what we're going to do then is read them as if we're our audience. Now, if you're finding that you can't read it as if your audience, Google has a really handy little thing. You can pop it into a Google document and you can have Google read it back to you. So you can say, listen to this tab and it'll read it back. Then there are a few key things that we need to look at as we go through that little snapshot of posts. Do these posts sound like they're coming from the same person? Does the tone feel consistent? And does it actually sound like me? And that one is more important than anything else. It doesn't need to be so polished. It needs to sound like you, because we do not want to disconnect from when the client actually comes to engage with you and the content that you've got out there. Most people sound different depending on the platform, and that's fine. LinkedIn's a little bit more formal, Facebook's a little bit more casual, and that's okay. We can do all of that. And there is also emails and conversations, but in the end, we want to make sure that that tone is still the same. And this is not about fixing everything, okay? It's just about noticing. Now that we've taken that brand voice audit and we've looked at things and we're maybe going, okay, this piece is good, this piece is not, this piece sounds like me, it doesn't. I want you to have a look at the content that has resonated with your audience. So looking at the content that's been out there, especially that had been on brand voice, and see what's resonated, what's been getting engagement, what has been getting people to click through, because we need to keep that in our brand voice. We need to continue that stuff. And we're going to shift our energy now to make sure that we're looking at the good stuff. So we want to look for the pieces that feel natural to us in that content, where you sound confident and clear and appear confident and clear as well. And then we want to make sure that we are looking for words and phrases that we maybe always use. Now, this goes 2 ways. We're looking for words and phrases that we always use that connect. So in Enever Group, we've got 2 C words here. Clive says clarity all the time. I say consistency all the time. And, our team have a little bit of a mock drinking game about it. But we're looking for those. And if there are a word that you say all the time because it actually embodies what you do, then embrace it. If there are words like ums and ahs, we want to try and take them out as much as we can. If there are words like jargon that needs explanation, then we want to simplify that down. And you remember how I was saying about that content that's resonated with our audience, that's got the engagement? Look for those posts that have been getting posts with comments and emails that people reply to, because our audience is telling us in those moments that this content has landed and it's not only natural to us, hopefully, but it's the type of content they want to see more of from us. That makes things amazing because knowing that that's the content that they all want to receive from us, this is already our brand voice. We've already created these social media posts. So we're not rewriting anything here. We're recognizing it. So if you've not done anything about brand voice at all before, you've actually been doing it. You're just now recognizing it and putting it along the way. Then we've got to jump into spotting the gaps. So this is where curiosity helps in this process. What feels forced for you? What feels overly salesy? What feels too polished or too stiff and it's just off the mark? That's the type of content that we most probably want to push away to the side in this brand audit. And quite often we get that stuff coming up because we're writing for the algorithm. We're using marketing language that we would never say out loud, which is why that Google tip about using the read back tab works really well. And these aren't mistakes, they're just clues in what we need to do in our content to make sure we maintain our brand voice. Because mistakes are always going to happen, but they are always something that we can learn from. So they're not the be all and end all of the world. By doing this activity, if we've gone offline a little bit, we start to bring our voice back into alignment. Our brand voice starts coming back together. After we've brought our brand voice back into alignment, if we haven't already, we want to remember 3 words that describes our brands. So if your brand was a person, it would be warm, confident, approachable. It might be energetic, lively, and fun. We want 3 words that are easy to remember and easy to check against. And then if we're using AI and those tools, we can put those prompts in. That's the type of copy we're looking. And then we want to make sure that we check everything that we do before we hit publish, before we send an email, and before we write content that we are using that area. And sometimes we might need to put ourselves into those 3 words. We might need to get energetic. We might need to get fun, or we might need to get clear, grounded, and supported, because if we're trying to create copy when we're not in those mindsets, it doesn't work. And in the end, defining that brand voice and having those 3 key words that we keep coming back to builds that consistency word that I keep talking about. It builds recognition for you, and recognition will build trust. So now we've done the exercise. How do we apply it and keep moving forward with it? We're going to use the 3 words as a filter. We're going to ask ourselves simple questions like, does this sound like us? Does it feel clear and human? And does it match the rest of our content? And if it doesn't, that's fine. We had an example here in the office this morning that was off, and it took me a little while, but we eventually got it there. And what I needed to do was actually walk away and come back and have the energy right. This is always going to be an ongoing thing. We're going to tweak things, not scrap them. We're going to adjust as we go, and we don't need to get it perfect. We just need to keep making progress to make sure that our voice says who we are as a business, what we stand for, and connects along well. The aim of this audit is to make sure that we continue to look after our brand voice and we make progress over perfection. We don't need to scrap everything because something didn't work. We might tweak it a little bit. We don't have to reinvent the wheel here. We can adjust things as we go along. And when that brand voice is clear, showing up starts to feel easier for you. As I said at the start, this isn't about creating something new. It's about reconnecting with what already works out there on your social media, making sure the content feels natural. And by doing that, we get decisions faster. Our audience recognizes us because the content is like us, and you don't sound like anyone else out there. You sound like you, which is what your audience needs. So set aside 20 minutes this week, audit, refine, move forward, and move on. If you need a little bit more help with understanding your brand voice and conducting a brand audit, inside the Ideas, Impact, and Marketing Circle, we have a brand audit template, which you are welcome to jump in and have a look at and use. We also are a community that talks about business and marketing on a regular basis. So if you're looking for some community and support, jump in and join us in the Ideas, Impact, and Marketing Circle. Until next time, I'm Linda Reed-Enever, Ideas, Impact, and Marketing Strategist, and I love teaching you what I do. And I look forward to seeing you create impact with a brand voice that is all of your own.